All right, here we go with game number 2 between EG Axslav and EG HuK. The teams going at it. And unfortunately, one EG will fall in this best-of-3 series. HuK is up 1-0, and we are moving over to dual site Orb. That was a sick game 1, man.
It was indeed, man. That was crazy. Staying on one base until they were completely mined out. And game 2.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, what really sticks out in mind is HuK, I felt, was so far behind for a lot of that game. And then all of a sudden, he was just able to, you know, with good decision-making, perfect timing, when to get that Nexus, he was able to edge out his opponent. It was just insane how good his unit control is, man.
Yeah, I liked Axslav's strategy of going to DTs versus Blink Stalkers, but I feel like if he wanted to win that game, he needed to do that earlier, and there were a couple other things he needed to do as well. I mean, not having a forward pylon set up is understandable when he was contained all game, but should have probably at least put one near the edge of his base so he could have warped in outside and moved those DTs over. I feel like the delay that his own force field caused him that game might have even lost him the game and allowed those DTs to just be sitting there against the force field, and it actually allowed HuK to see the blur there above the force field. So I feel like if Axslav had either gone for those DTs a little bit earlier while he's defending up his ramp with Force Fields and Immortals, or if he had warped in the DTs in such a way to run straight to HuK's base, that we might have seen a completely different game.
Definitely, but nevertheless, HuK has the 1-0 advantage, and we're going into dual site. We have EG Axslav spawning over here as the red Protoss, and in the 9 o'clock position, we have EG HuK spawning in as the blue Protoss. This is, of course, a dual site. And they're going to know where each other are. Now, interesting, Axslav has actually not gone out to scout after the gateway. Normally, it's a gateway scout, or at very latest, there's an assimilator scout. Axslav saying, hey, I'm going to utilize my probe to make me money.
Yeah, man, I think it might be because, you know, they're on the same team, so I mean, I actually don't know how much they've practiced together at this point, but he might just be very familiar with HuK's playstyle. A lot of people are fans of HuK, a lot of people watch his games, so a lot of people are familiar with his playstyle. He's going to play PvP in a pretty similar style each game, and we've seen that 12-gate opener from him. He basically just looks at his opponent, says, well, if you're too greedy, if you use up too much chrono boost, or if your gateway or your core is too late, well, then I can punish you with my own 4-gate, and if not, I can play a very good standard blink game, etc. So I think Axslav maybe just was delaying his scout, knowing that HuK probably wouldn't do anything like a proxy, and that he would probably just play his normal safe old style.
Definitely, we do see that coming out from HuK. Again, not using that second chrono boost, saving up a lot for the cybernetics core, of course, to get that warp gate. There's been a assimilator skill from Axslav. What that's going to do is really give him the initiative, forces HuK to play a certain way, and he's going to be able to also see the army composition. We see first Stalker is coming out and being chrono boosted as well. I'm probably expecting some sort of 4-gate coming out of HuK right now.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. He has two options, really. He can either just 4-gate, accept the fact that he's going to be on one gas, try to end the game early enough that it doesn't matter, or try to get out some units really early on, kill off the gas as soon as possible, and just try to go for a tech build. But, I mean, if he does that, he will be behind on his tech, so he is going to go ahead and choose the 4-gate. Definitely a pretty wise move. If you are going to try to go for that tech build, a good thing to go for is if you go for very quick 2 Zealots, you can pick off that assimilator much quicker than a Stalker can. But since HuK did not make that first Zealot, he was kind of forced into this playstyle, and that's why he is going for that 4-gate. Now, Axslav, with double gas himself, will be able to use sentries to defend like we saw in that last game, but he has to worry about, yet again, just being contained into his base. So we'll have to see if he chooses that 3-gate robo again, or if he's going to perhaps play it a different style.
Definitely. We do see sentries being chrono boosted out right now. Chrono boost not being allocated towards that warp gate, which I really like this style, but nevertheless he will be able to defend pretty easily. Now finally a probe is going to come here on the bottom. Axslav is actually probe hunting, and he's going to catch it. There you are, and now finally take out this one pylon, but oh my gosh, nope, HuK's going to cancel it, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, HuK does have another forward pylon up at the 12 o'clock, but it's a little bit far away from Axslav's base, so definitely not ideal for him to not be able to have that forward probe. It's going to be great for Axslav, just give him even more time to defend against this possibility of an attack, and he is just going to go for the very standard transition into a 3-gate robo. He's going to be playing it as safely as possible.
Yeah, and Axslav is completely safe. All you need is 2 sentries to defend, and then as soon as you see some sort of 4-gate, then you can throw down a 3rd sentry. You don't want to get too many, but oh no! Oh, I thought he actually was going to do it too late. Nevertheless, he was able to get that force field up there. There are no forward pylons near the ramp, so he needs to be super careful. Now finally a second force field's going to go down, and there's the big warp, and there's that 3rd sentry as well.
Yeah, HuK in a lot of trouble right now with that Stalker isolated on the high ground, and it does get taken out, so he is in a little bit of trouble right now. He's down on units. He's forced to warp in units all the way over at that pylon really far away. So HuK has added on his second gas here. It looks like he just wanted to go for a 4-gate to punish Axslav in case Axslav got a little bit too greedy. Also force Axslav to make those sentries. It's very important. If you get your gas stolen, you just go straight up to gas yourself, well, then the Protoss that stole your gas can easily just be like, all right, I know you're not 4-gating, you're taking your gas, and I can just immediately tech up and have a huge advantage. But HuK being so smart, going for that early aggression, even when he didn't have the forward pylon, it allowed him to force that extra sentry out from Axslav, and that will delay any possibility of quick Colossus tech from Axslav.
Definitely. Look at this. HuK knows that his opponent probably proxied something. He's looking for it, and there he goes. Spots out Axslav's proxy pylon, is going to take that out very, very easily. But meanwhile, you know, he has complete map control. He knows exactly what's going on. He has both the watchtowers. He has the forward pylon, as you were saying before. But where does HuK go from here? He just gets the robotics facility, starts standard. Now, in most positions, I would say, yeah, Axslav is advantage, which he definitely is. We can see the income tab. He's ahead in workers. He's ahead in tech. But as we saw last game, don't count HuK out at all, because his control is immaculate. He will surprise you with you know, he'll turn water into wine so easy.
Yeah, and he's actually playing, I feel like Axslav's playing right into HuK's hands right now. HuK is reading his opponent so well. He knows in that last game, Axslav started off with the exact same opener, and he went to 3-gate robo. So what's he going to do? He's going to know he's going to go for that, and just going to go straight for Colossus tech. So, I mean, Axslav, he actually cancels it. He went for an expansion, but then canceled it. You know, he has that observer in his opponent's base. He sees what's going on. But I feel like the fact that he's rushing at these Immortals, and HuK actually was just going straight for Colossi, is going to give the benefit to HuK, since Axslav was forced to defend against the possibility of another Blink Stalker attack. But that, I mean, while that's happening, wow, Axslav actually adding on a Stargate. I'm a little bit confused what he's going to plan on doing with this. It might be Voids, it might be Phoenixes, either one going to be good against Colossi, but I think Phoenixes would probably be the better choice for that added map control and harassment potential in PvP.
Yeah, look at that cybernetics core, man. That's the big thing. +1 weapons to air coming out. What the heck? When's the last time you saw this in a PvP orb? This
it was like
Stargate.
beta, man. So long ago.
The one Stargate.
But yeah, that's definitely going to suggest that it would be Phoenixes, since they attack twice at a time. So you do get a really nice benefit from that that +1.
And look at this, long distance Axslav. What the heck are you doing, man? He's long distance mining as well. He sees, oh, I'm fully saturated in my minerals. Okay, let's long distance mine, no problem. And you know what? This actually, it's kind of reminiscent of my good old friend EG in Control. You might have heard of him if you watched the NASL Season 1. He did a build like this similar in Season 1 against White Raw, and it was able to take him out very, very easily. However, he did have a Twilight Council pumping out speed lots and Blink Stalkers, so we'll see if he's able to do the same thing, or if he's just going to roll with this. Whatever it might be, this looks very dangerous, and I think Axslav is in a great position to really stomp on his opponent, since as soon as all the gateway units are cleared out, I mean, or excuse me, as soon as there's a transfer of units, all he has to do is pick up Graviton Beam every single warped in unit, and basically HuK has no way to reinforce.
Yeah, now he's using this observer to actually just put on any pressure he can on Axslav. He's actually picking off those probes. He saw them long distance mining, so he's going to go ahead and deny that, pick off a pylon if he can, pick off another probe. Really nicely done. Axslav's got to be a little bit careful with that control. The Phoenixes, they are coming back to defend.
And this could be a very costly attack that he just did. There's the 3 Graviton Beams that go up, and they're going to catch all 3 of these Stalkers. Maybe not very easily. There they go. Finally, another Graviton Beam going to take out that 3rd one finally. So HuK not looking too good from that, but we'll see what happens with this big army. It looks like Axslav is already in set. Axslav did the same build against Squirtle in week number 1 in NASL Season 1. Man, I love my memory, man. I'm so good.
Oh, it's so good. So good. Now HuK's gonna be in a lot of trouble. These Phoenixes are coming to the mineral line. They're gonna try to pick off any probes that they can. But the problem is that HuK is forced to use Stalkers to defend against the Phoenixes, and that's going to play right into Axslav's hands. He's got a ton of Zealots and Immortals which deal with Stalkers very, very efficiently. So HuK could be in a lot of trouble right here. But here comes with the engagement. The Colossi are a little bit stacked up. He needs to get a bit of a better positioning there. The last Colossus in the back, unable to attack. HuK's getting his Colossi targeted down by these Phoenixes from Axslav, but HuK is picking off the Phoenixes pretty well, and it looks like he does have the advantage in this army.
Yeah, most definitely 2 Colossus out now for HuK, and he's going to be able to just roll over this if ever the engagement ensues. The Stalkers are just defended those Colossus so well, and now finally the Immortals and the Zealots are going to be backed all the way to the bottom right-hand corner. I think Axslav needs to fight right now. There's the force fields, but the Colossus just walk over them so easily, and all of Axslav's units are all bunched up. This is terrible. Axslav, oh my god, with poor unit control, is going to lose this fight very decisively, and HuK only losing 2 Colossus, it seems, out of that whole thing is just going to steamroll his opponent for the counterattack.
Yeah, I mean, Axslav just kind of backed himself into the corner. The problem is Zealots and Immortals are that, what is it, 2.25 movement speed, I believe. Stalkers and Colossi going to be able to actually chase them down. And HuK still, of course, has his expansion up, whereas the expansion just got up from Axslav and it will be taken out. So it looks like HuK has a huge advantage in this game, and I don't know what kind of miracle Axslav would have to pull off to win this match.
You know what? I have to admit, HuK, you do have top 3 unit control. That is so sick how you can come from doing a delayed robo and getting back into the game, even with a worser economy. It just feels like his control is so freaking good. Now finally the big engagement is going to start. Colossus is going to get targeted down, but there are just so many units here. Already the damage has been done. Now the Graviton Beams are coming out, and all the units are very distanced right now. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. Actually picking up Zealots now and just trying to buy as much time as possible. The Immortal is finally going to get in here and target down some of these Stalkers, but the Stalkers are already killed, it seems like, every single one of the probes. This is terrible. Income tab shows 0 Harvesters to 27, and I think that 27 is more than 0.
I think you're right, Gretorp. I mean, HuK went in there. It seemed like it might have been a risky engagement. He did lose his whole army, but he's on 2 base. He can afford to lose his whole army after he kills his opponent's entire mineral line. So Axslav's desperately trying to rebuild his probes. He's chrono boosting, but it's kind of a last-ditch effort with this attack. If this attack doesn't do something magical here, I don't doubt that HuK will be able to take this series. The Phoenixes, I mean, they're good at doing harassment, but we only have 3 of them. They're not going to really be able to accomplish all that much. You don't have that much energy available to you, and HuK has a very large number of Stalkers here. So it looks like he should be able to defend. I mean, there are 2 Immortals here for Axslav, but with all these Zealots in front for HuK, it looks like he'll probably not have too much trouble defending this attack. Yeah,
and even using all of his probes, the probes are going to get in there, and they're going to provide a very good use of tanking damage. Now, finally, the Immortals seem like they're only things left. Axslav is left with just about nothing, getting 1 probe out. GG comes out, and HuK is going to take the series 2-0. So holy guacamole, HuK. I feel like a broken record because I keep saying this. His control is so good. No, he's so freaking good, man. He is so good.
Yeah, man. Number one. Top 3 control. Top 3. He is insane, man. What he did there with those Colossi was so good. He actually caught Axslav way off guard. Axslav got caught like into a corner with all of his Zealots and Immortals. Just a really good map control essentially by HuK, preventing him from taking any other escape route, utilizing those more mobile Stalkers essentially. So, but I loved what he did with that game, just rushing up to Colossi despite having his gas stolen. He rushed up to Colossi, and that it felt like that was kind of like outplaying what Axslav was going for with those early Immortals, which is, I mean, he was forced to get early Immortals in case HuK was going Blink again.
Yeah.
So it was just such good mind games by HuK there.
Definitely, and on top of that, I like just the overall army engagement. I mean, he was able to distance the Colossus away from the Immortals, make sure that there were a lot of Zealots to just be a huge barrier, and then was able to snipe off every single, well, not every single, but the majority of those Phoenixes, and only 1 Colossus was netted out of the 3 total. I mean, 1 just emerged, but still, his control of his army, his decision-making, everything has been so strong. There's such a huge difference between HuK before Korea and after Korea. Before Korea, you know, we saw him, you know, play a little bit more. He was good, don't get me wrong, but his decision-making wasn't so pristine. Now that he's in Korea, it just feels like everything's put together. He's looking fantastic. A great pickup for EG.
Yeah, it's like he's running circles around his opponents, man. The decisions he makes are so solid.
Yeah, because think, he was behind that game. He was behind both games, and then all of a sudden it's just like, okay, well, I'll just make better decisions, and I'll ultimately beat you. And making better decisions against an opponent like Axslav is no strong feat, or no easy feat, excuse me. Axslav is just such a theoretical base player because he does have low APM and everything, but he's such a theoretical placed player. Outsmarting a player like him is so difficult.
That's HuK, man.
Yep.
He's so good. He's so good, man. That's what he does.
Anyway, we're going to go into our next match in a little bit. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.